Hola, yeah.
Hello everybody, and welcome to The Last of Us Iceberg. This iceberg was made by ElectroSlam on Reddit. The Last of Us is a game created by Naughty Dog, directed by Neil Druckmann, starring stars Ashley Johnson and Troy Baker. The game is about surviving in a world overrun by a cordyceps virus that causes humanity to go insane. Humans now kill each other because they have to, and the ones who are infected will attack anything and anyone on sight. You play as an old man, hurt and beaten by the world, trying to escort this little child who seems to be immune to the virus. And there are many theories and speculations since then about the world and who they are and how they live. You all know how Iceberg works. The top is the most known info that you can find anywhere, and as we go down, you'll start to learn a lot more interesting theories and secrets about the game. Without further ado, let's get into this. Layer 1. The surface. The podcast. There is an official Last of Us podcast you can listen to, hosted by Christian Spicer, and Neil Druckmann occasionally makes an appearance, along with stars like Haley Gross, Ashley Johnson, and Troy Baker, and they take the listener through the game, its details, secrets, kind of like a commentary that they have for the cutscenes in the game. The cordyceps. The cordyceps is basically an ant-like fungal virus that attacks ants and makes one of their hosts under control while they go into the hive and infect everybody from inside, eventually just killing them all. Neil Druckmann got the idea when he was watching a documentary about it, and he decided, what if they decide to infect humans one day? Seattle. Seattle is basically the main hub area in The Last of Us Part 2, where it hosts many of the main factions, like the Wolves, the Seraphites, and many more dangers. Say what you want about the game, but the environment is very beautiful in Seattle, despite the dangerous outcomes. Stuff like the subway, inside the many buildings, inside the ferry, it's all very pretty. Part 2 leaks and drama. A really big mess. Soon stuff like the script leaks got leaked, actors got leaked, major plot points like Joel dying, Ellie not getting revenge probably, Dina dying. A lot of speculation really happened, and cutscene leaks, false theories. It was just, you just had to be there. It caused the game to have a negative output from the get-go, which is really sad because at the end of the day, it's not a horrible game. Infection stages. Currently, as of now, there are 5 infection stages: a runner, a stalker, a clicker, a bloater, a shambler, and a rat king. Runners are the first stage, where a human acts almost like a rabid dog, chasing without a care and doing anything in its power to just hurt you. A stalker is when the fungal plates start growing on a person's face. It makes them half blind, but their echolocation skills start doing their stuff, and they start learning how to hunt you down and get you by any means necessary, and will constantly hide and run away if you chase them. A clicker is the main enemy of The Last of Us, the real iconic supervillain if you must. They use echolocation to hear, since their face is covered in fungal plates now. They use clicks to hear, and they can sense you if you're standing right in front of them with their wavelengths. I don't know how, they just do it. You can't punch them, but you can. But they are extremely dangerous, and they can one-tap you if you're not ready. A bloater is the final stage in the first game that we see. Bloaters are extremely dangerous, and they cannot be beaten with fists at all. Your best bet is to shoot the little fungal spores on them, but be careful, don't stand around too long or else they will start throwing them at you, which causes spores in the air and will kill you fast. Shamblers are a new infected type. Introduced in Part 2, they are seen to chase after the player and produce a type of spore into the air that causes them to burn. They will combust on death and will cause acid to go everywhere, killing anyone in sight. Next up is a rat king, an amalgamation of really everything. Clickers, runners, stalkers. They will pretty much just do anything, crash you or anything, just to get to you and kill you. TV show. There's an official TV show on HBO Max. As of now, season 2 is not come out yet. What more is there to say? Outbreak Day. September 26, 2011 is when the outbreak started in Houston, Texas, and caused Joel's life to change forever. On his birthday, no less. Outbreak Day is celebrated every year, where they have merch deals, game sales, anything you could think of. It's not as fun anymore, but they try. The Fedra. The Fedra is a government agency that had quarantine zones, and they had power disputes, ration disputes, and are more of a police-like. They are the last remaining part of the official government left in the world, and will do anything just so they don't get infected and to do their job, no matter how corrupt they are, and no matter who they have to kill. Part 2. One Night Live. One Night Live was a live reenactment of the game with the original voice actors and character actors doing their job to reprise their roles in a live action setting, almost like a Broadway play, except there is no music. It's pretty much just every cutscene, except you can see it live. It also includes a secret scene that they did not want you to see of Joel teaching Ellie guitar, which would lead up to part 2. David. David is pretty much just an average TikToker. Typical YouTuber. The op of the winter chapter in the first game. Leader of the hunters. He's wow. Cannibal. Definitely kills anything he has to. And he may have wanted to get a little bit too touchy with our little girl. Of course in the game it's implied, but in the show, he deadass says it. Here's the clip.
What you already knew. The fighting is the part I like the most.
I think he deserves what happens to him. In fact, let's watch the scene right now. Beautiful. Dina and JJ, where are they? At the end of the game, after Ellie comes back home after fighting Abby for the final time, she sees that Dina and JJ are gone. Of course, you have to think, where are they? It has been speculated they return back to Jackson, because that's where Ellie goes back to at the end of the game. We don't know for sure until part 3 comes out, if it ever comes out, if it's even going to continue her story, but we can only hope. The rest of the world. Even though we know about certain parts of the world, what happened to the rest of it? As we see later on in the game, there are many environments we go to. The rest of the world is in shambles. Everything is overgrown, either by nature, infected, or other humans that have seemed to have taken over anything. Nowhere is truly safe, except for small settlements like Jackson, or the Firefly base, at least until this old man showed up and they said they were going to kill his little girl. The Ghost Ship. In Abby's chapter of Seattle, you come across a ghost ship, an abandoned ship that once had survivors. If you pick up a note, it talks about how a captain and a woman once got into a fight. The woman went on to kill many sick patients because they deemed to be sick, even though she knew that they were infected. And at the end, the captain is stuck in a room and he hears infected outside, where he learned that the woman was probably right. American Dreams. American Dreams is a graphic novel. It's a graphic novel about Ellie and Riley and their life in the boarding school before the game takes place. It's a pretty interesting graphic novel. I haven't had time to read it, but it definitely looks really cool. And it explains why Ellie knows how to do any of the things she does, like stitching. The WLF. Washington Libertation Fronts. Ex-Fireflies, now in their own faction. They still fight against Fedra, Seraphites, and anything they can. They are real fighters, and they don't allow anyone to take them down, no matter how many have tried, even if it's their own person. Why is Ellie immune? It has been theorized many times why Ellie is even immune in the first place. Many have come to the speculation that when Ellie's mom was bit during Ellie's birth, her blood went into Ellie's veins but couldn't infect her fast enough when she was nursing her. And that blood eventually went to Ellie's brain, where it grew and grew until she became immune herself. Whether it be actual immunity or just a slow infection slowly taking over her mind, we never know. But Ellie does show signs of infection, including her aggression and her endless strength. So who knows, maybe she really is infected and we just don't know it. Part 2 Cut DLC. There's a lot of cut DLC for The Last of Us Part 2, including multiplayer. They were going to bring back multiplayer eventually, but then it was scrapped after years of getting delayed. It's a shame, because with the new engine, I think multiplayer could have been a very good asset to keep the game alive and running. Of course, now we have a roguelike game mode in the new remaster, where you can go around and kill anything and anyone in waves, playing as many new characters. What are shamblers? It has been said due to the high humidity and rainfall, bloaters evolved into shamblers in Seattle. As I said before, they have pulsating pimples that shoot out acid when they get close to you, and they'll die on death like a bloater would, but instead of releasing spores, they release an acid-like substance that can burn you if you're not careful. You fight a lot of these in the game, so you gotta get used to killing them. They're pretty scary on grounded mode. Ellie is not immune. This is a theory talking about how when Ellie was a baby and getting nursed by her mom, she didn't actually get the infection into her blood. Her immune system kicked in on overdrive and made her tolerant to the infection. So she's not immune technically. It's more or less like a flu. Her immune system is just strong enough to fight back to it. Joel and Tess were dating. This is a theory speculating that Joel and Tess had a romantic love life before the game started, and during the game. People speculate this because when Tess eventually sacrifices herself, she tells Joel that there has to be some sort of ulterior motive for him here. Almost as if she's pleading him. I don't think they were dating personally. They're just really close friends, and even if they did have a romantic life, it was strictly mutual. Nothing really concrete. Although they would make a beautiful couple. Fan films. There has been a lot of fan films online about the game, whether it be from Raka Raka, fake trailers, anything above. Fans just love the game. They love to see what type of world they can make. The Surgeon's Recorder. The Surgeon's Recorder is in the Firefly base. You can look for it, you can find it yourself if you're not too busy slaughtering fireflies. It talks about Ellie's infection and how she could create a cure for humanity. Although I do remember that there is a Firefly recording that says maybe she isn't immune and there's a 50-50 chance it won't work. But so far I can't find any footage for it.
April 28. Marlene was right. The girl's infection is like nothing I've ever seen. The cause of her immunity is uncertain. As we've seen in all past cases, the antigenic titers of the patient's cordyceps remain high in both the serum and the cerebrospinal fluid. Blood cultures taken from the patient rapidly grow cordyceps and fungal media in the lab. However, white blood cell lines, including percentages and absolute counts, are completely normal. There is no elevation of pro-inflammatory cytokines, and an MRI of the brain shows no evidence of fungal growth in the limbic regions, which would normally accompany the prodrome of aggression in infected patients. We must find a way to replicate this state under laboratory conditions. We're about to hit a milestone in human history equal to the discovery of penicillin. After years of wandering in circles, we're about to come home, make a difference, and bring the human race back into control of its own destiny. All of our sacrifices and the hundreds of men and women who've bled for this cause, or worse, will not be in vain.
Ellie's scar. It's a mystery in the game why Ellie even has her scar. Neil Druckmann has hinted that it does take place pre-main game, Left Behind, and even American Dreams. In the show, Riley mentions that when Ellie and Riley snuck out one day, Ellie got her scar at a convenience store raid. People have speculated that it may have happened during a gunshot or a knife attack, but we still don't know to this day. American Girl dolls. Yep, American Girl dolls. It looks pretty natural to every other viewer, but to the keen eyes who actually know American Girl dolls, they see that there are some inaccuracies with some dolls that predate the game's events. I don't know how they saw that, but they did. But does it take away from the experience? Not really. At the end of the day, it's just a background prop. But to some people, it might have just been a deal breaker. Days Gone is a Last of Us prototype. This has been theorized because Days Gone and Last of Us are in the same engine. They have similar graphics, similar ideas, crafting, and they even have silenced pistols. But I think it's just a scenario where two things just happen to be alike. Both are very different in terms of infected, gameplay, so at the end of the day, Days Gone is not a Last of Us prototype. Last of Us and Uncharted same universe. This has never been confirmed, but Last of Us and Uncharted do have a tendency to mention each other via Easter eggs or similar locations. In fact, in Uncharted 3, there is a newspaper in the bar that mentions a cordyceps virus. Uncharted 3 predates Last of Us by release date. Even references with more newspapers in The Last of Us, Justin Bieber can be seen playing Nathan Drake in the Uncharted movie. Sorry, Tom Holland. Abandoned quarantine zones. Throughout the game, you can find many abandoned quarantine zones, graffitis, notes, and dead soldiers. You can tell by the environment that the quarantine zones are overrun. Stuff did not go well, people were given their rations, and they fought back. Crash Bandicoot reference. In Last of Us Part 2, when Ellie and Dina are on their little solo adventure, meanwhile Joel's getting battered. They find a bunch of old VHS tapes. One of them says, "Smash Brandy's Cooch." I was reference to Crash Bandicoot. And that wraps up the first 3 layers of The Last of Us Iceberg. If you want to see more, like, comment, subscribe, dislike if you dislike it, and no, just kidding.
Kill yourself!
Hola, Slenderman.
So a couple of months ago I uploaded The Last of Us Iceberg Part 1, and I said if this gets more than 2 likes then I'll make a Part 2, and guess what? It has 5 likes and I have yet to make Part 2. Can you believe that? I would have unsubscribed. Shit, I probably lost subscribers right now, but that don't matter. What matters now is that we have the official Part 2 right now, so without further ado, let's get into it.
Did you see that in a movie too?
Actually, yeah. But a different one. See, there's a sequel. Wasn't as good.
Ish. You might be wondering, who in the is Ish? Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not talking about Void101. By the way, subscribe to the channel, link in the description. JK, I didn't put that shit in the description, but if you comment right now, Ish, I'll put you in the description. He was a traveler who was at sea when the outbreak started. He washed up on shore, and then his team was there with all his peoples, and then they got murked in the sewers. You know the whole thing, like the whole children wrapped up, you know.
Jesus.
The Rattlers. The Rattlers, they were on that Jim Crow shit without Abraham Lincoln. They're over here enslaving fireflies, people, innocent people going some, if you need help, go to the local bodega and we'll help you. And then you go to the local bodega and they call with shiesties and shit and they start running your pockets like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? It didn't matter if you were a man, a woman, adult, infected, they'll lynch your ass. And of course we all know what happens after to all the Rattlers. You know, Ellie comes up, butt fuck them, you know. The origins of the CBI. In part 1, all the way in the beginning of the game, if you walk into the bathroom with Sarah, Joel has a newspaper on the sink. And it talks about how in South America, the infection will spread to crops. And you know how that works. It spreads to people, they eat it, and then it gets in their bodies. You know, Jimmy probably infected. So blame South America, okay? Part 2 is banned in the UAE. Well, I mean, obviously, the game has lots of blood. It has nudity. It has the LGBTQ. So, I mean, clearly it's a big no-no to them. Well, I mean, it should have been a big no-no. The cut endings. Of course, as a game has its many scenes, it's gonna have cut endings. I'll put up a little clip right here.
Rolling. Marker.
Get away from her! Get away!
You can't save her. Even if you get her out of here, what then? What then? She'll be raped and murdered. Raped and murdered.
It's not for you to decide!
It's what she'd want. It's what she'd want. And you know it, Joel. You know it, Joel.
What am I feeling? So much confusion. I've got a man in my arms and a girl with a gun to my head. But there she is on the table. Is she alive? Is she
Look
dead?
at her, Joel. Look at her. You can still do the right thing, Joel.
No.
Oh!
Die! Die!
Please let me go. Please, Joel.
You just come after. Come on, Ellie. We gotta go. Let's get you out of here. They're coming soon, and I will let you die. Your brain is worth more alive.
Alright, that's enough of that. That's enough of that. You already seen enough. Why did Tommy and Joel split? After Sarah's death, we really have no idea what happens during the 20 years later. But if you focus on the game, literally, if you just pay attention for like 5 minutes, Joel will talk about what he has done when Ellie was gone prior. Of course, we know he's a smuggler, escorting medicine, people, cargo. But we don't know what happened before he met Tess when he was still with Tommy. We just know that Tommy told Joel to get out of his face. And Tommy mentions that he has nightmares from when him and Joel used to ride together, die together, brothers forever. And after the big ambush, Ellie and Joel talk about why Joel actually knew, but they were going to get jumped. And you hear him say he's been on both sides, meaning that he has played sick and somebody came to old yeller him and he ended up jumping on with Tommy. That's probably why he has nightmares. He used to be a hunter.
How did you know
Know what?
about the ambush?
I've been on both sides.
Oh. So, you kill a lot of innocent people? I'll take that as a yes.
Take it however you want.
Ellie's tattoo. In part 2, Ellie covers up her bite mark with acid and then she gets some ink done on her. And what does she put? A big old moth, but a big old butterfly. But it's pretty much a moth. What does it all mean? I'm tapping my chin, you hear that? I think it symbolizes how even though Ellie herself is not really wanted, not really appreciated like a moth, she's still doing her thing, going out there trying to find her way in life, and I think that's beautiful. Joel is a villain. Literally, it's an opinion. Personally, I don't think Joel is a bad guy. The Fireflies are terrorists. They flashbanged a child and an old man. And in the game, they literally killed... Well, they knocked Joel out after he was trying to save an unconscious little girl. Like, who does that? Really? You want to look me in the face, look me in the eyes, what do you see? That is not good people. What?
Toby!
Joel's planned death. I mean, part 2 was kind of obvious. I mean, he was gonna die one way or another. We just didn't expect it to happen like that. So, developer cameos. Here's a picture of Neil Druckmann in the show. That's all I really care about the developers. Ellie's parents. We do know about her mama, Anna. She was a nurse. During the outbreak, she was helping people. She was boys with Marlene. She gets bit. She has Ellie. She gives her Marlene and says, Marlene, you better help my kid right now. I swear to God, if you kill her, I'm going to come back for your ass. From what I've done research about, I don't know anything about her dad. He hit it and quit it. Fireflies are the villain. Another opinionated thing. I personally think these guys, they weren't good at all. Like, they were some bad voodoo. They were trying to save the world, but at the same time, they were trying to keep the world contained for their power. Like, that's some fuck shit up. Or maybe I'm just looking too deep into it. Maybe I'm not seeing the big overall message. I don't know. You don't even care. You probably are watching this and you probably don't even know anything about the Fireflies. You just want to know about the Lassos because you've seen the show. Don't yell at them. Don't yell at them. The Seraphite Prophet. The so-called leader of the Seraphites. Long dead by the time the game starts. But, it's pretty much like their god. Like, they believe in the prophet. They believe in their message. That's why they're even doing the things they do. Ellie is contagious. In the last video, I have mentioned that Ellie might be showing signs of an infection.
Many have come to the speculation that when Ellie's mom was bit during Ellie's birth, her blood went into Ellie's veins but couldn't infect her fast enough when she was nursing her. And that blood eventually went to Ellie's brain, where it grew and grew until she became immune herself.
Shut your bitch ass up, Troy.
Not only is she A, durable as flip, but she's aggressive as hell, and she is very, very fast. So who's to say that she can't just bite somebody and then they'll start tweaking out later? Once after Ellie bites David, he starts geeking out in the boss fight. If you're on grounded mode, that motherfucker's fast. Talking about some crouching speed. That crouching speed is insane. Faster than a little girl. The infected are conscious. Here's a little morbid theory that I have. I think the infected are full-blown aware of what they're doing. Especially at runner stage, you know what I mean? Look, runners are weeping, they're crying, they're walking away, trying to run. Stalkers, they tend to run away from danger. They hide because they know they're gonna die. They have to defend themselves. Clickers, they talk to each other, going some like that. Bloaters are just big people, Not gonna lie, if I was a big burly ass early 2000s Dave Bautista ass Samoan man, whatever, in the apocalypse, I'd be mowing bitches down. No lawnmower. But bloaters are very smart when they're not. If you're hiding, they'll throw a spore at your ass and they'll make you come out of hiding. So I think the infected are actually aware, but they just can't control it and they let their instincts go wild. Manny is Neil Druckmann. So a guy you might realize as Manny at launch kind of resembled Neil Druckmann. I mean, both were very tan people with buns in their hair and beards, and people were like, I think Neil Druckmann might be inserting his self-OC to spit on Joel to say that he does not like Joel. I think it was just coincidence. I mean, he's saying all Besners look alike. I mean, they do, but the elders are basically just the prophet's boys, like they pass on her message and they do what they do. Riley's death. Riley was Ellie's best bud, questionable lover. They was boys. They was day ones, you know what I mean? And when she eventually turned and Ellie had to put her down, this kind of adds a little chain effect to everything. Like people like Tess, people like Sam, people like Henry. Ellie gets attached to these people and then they die. People like Joel himself, people like Jesse. She got attached to these people and what did they do? They died. People like Dina. She went to go off on her own thing and she didn't pay attention to what was right in front of her and Dina left. That's why she is so clingy and so emotional. Because she was afraid of being alone. Joel is immune. I mean, shit, you hang around a guy with HIV, you're probably bound to just kind of get it and have it chill in your body. I don't know. Ellie kills Abby. We all know the ending, you could probably post some weird thing where it's like, oh, Ellie actually did kill Abby, that's why she thought about Joel, or Abby killed Ellie, that's why she was even thinking about Joel in the first place. And when she walks into her home and finds it empty, that's like her afterlife or whatever. I think Ellie just wimped out at the last minute and didn't kill Abby because of conscience. But if you want to see Ellie kill Abby, here's a compilation. Giraffe symbolism. Throughout the game, you can find giraffes everywhere, whether on walls, blotches, an actual real-life fucking giraffe. You might be wondering, what does it all mean? Well, it basically means hope. Hope in a dark world where nature is cruel, people are cruel, and yet these animals they be vibing, they be chilling, and they be doing whatever. That's gonna wrap up part 2 of this beautiful, beautiful Iceberg. If you want part 3, you better get this shit to like 3 likes or something. I know I ain't got that much motion, but clearly we gotta get this boat in the ocean. Come on now. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. If you think I'm wrong, comment. Please comment. Maybe I'll make a correction on a YouTube short or something. Holla at your boy, yeah!
That's it?